Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Shyam Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajak Acharya Ashtotrasta Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki jai Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the Sri Guru and Sri Guru Sri Hare Krishna, welcome everyone. Before I start today's lecture, I just wanted to offer my gratitude to Mother Premananda for inviting me to come here and spend Sunday afternoon with all of you. It's my first time speaking at the Naperville Temple, and I don't know most of you, I know some of you, so I hope that I'll still be able to keep your attention with the topic that we have today. And I thought before I start, maybe I could just share a little bit about how I came to Krishna consciousness. Might be a nice way to get to know each other a little bit, because I don't know most of you, like I said. And as Mother Premananda explained, I was working in downtown Chicago at the History Channel for about, this was let's see, I was 24 years old then, so I'd already been working for about 4 years. And we were making a quite a popular show on television, which some of the young ones may have watched. It was called Gangland. Anybody know that show? Anybody know Gangland? Okay, we'll put it in the list. Okay. Don't worry about YouTubing it. It's not not going to learn much about spiritual life or real life. The show was called Gangland. Yeah, don't Google it, don't YouTube it. Let it be. It was the best. Okay. So I was working on the show, and I was going through a phase of, you could say, material dissatisfaction. I think this happens to anybody who comes to spiritual life, that you have everything working out materially. There's money, there's some level of success, but you still feel like something very important is missing in your life. So just that moment in my life, I got a promotion at work, so I was in charge of all the online content for the show as well as producing it. So it was quite a big responsibility, and so I thought, so much pressure. How do you deal with all this pressure in the material world? I just went and bought my first car. That's the natural response in the material world to stress, is you just get more stuff, right? You're feeling stressed out, it's ready to go shopping. Just buy a new shirt, buy a new dress, buy a new whatever, buy a new phone. So that's what I went and bought a new car, and I thought, I should feel good now. I had my first car, it was a really nice car, I'm good to see it. It's a nice car, right? A Nissan Maxima sports model, it was a nice car. I still didn't feel so good, so I was telling my mom one day on the phone, as every good Indian son does, he tells his mom everything. So I was talking to my mom on the phone, and I said, I just feel so unhappy nowadays. And she's like, what's wrong? I was like, I don't know, I just don't feel happy. And she said, I know what the problem is. I said, what's the problem? She said, you have to take your car to the temple for a car puja. I was like, hold on a second, let me rewind here. I don't feel happy in life. It has nothing to do with my car. So she was insistent. She said, no. You must take your car to the temple for a car puja, and that's how you will feel better. So I thought, okay, let's do it. So I Googled, I live in Chicago, I Googled temple near my house. The nearest one was ISKCON Chicago. I thought, well, I grew up in Africa, and we used to go to the ISKCON temple in Africa. So I thought, okay, well, I know what an ISKCON temple is, so I should go. They have pujaris there. So I went. And it was a Thursday morning. My work started a little late, so I could take the mornings off. I was sitting in the back of the temple room, and this one African-American devotee comes up to talk to me. Some of you know who that is. It's Jai Jagannath. Who knows Jai Jagannath? I think he's more popular than me. That's great. No, he's a nice devotee, he's a wonderful devotee. So he comes up to me and he says, so, do you have any questions? This is a standard opening line for Jai Jagannath. Do you have any questions? Doesn't he say, hi, how are you? Do you have any questions? I said, yes, I have a question. What's your question? Can you worship my car outside? I literally what I said, can you worship my car? It's parked outside. He said, we don't do car pujas here. I said, I looked around, I was like, is it a temple? It's a temple, right? He's like, yeah, it's a temple. I said, so, let's go. Take a coconut, take a donation, light some incense. That's literally how I spoke. I was very rude, I just thought, come on, let's go. Let's get a coconut, get some incense, chant some mantras, just worship my car, okay? It'll be finished. And he just looked at me like there was something wrong with it. So he said, no, you have to understand the goal of life is not to worship cars. I said, what's the goal of life? He said, the goal of life is to be Krishna conscious. Now imagine, I'm just a new person walking through the door, trying to get my car worshipped, and I get this big answer given to me, It's kind of like you get lost in Naperville, so you stop by the temple, like, do you know which way is Costco? You're like, don't go to Costco, go to Golokam Vrindavan. What do you mean hold on, I'm trying to go to Costco. Don't worry about Costco, come here. Don't go to Golokam Vrindavan, I'll show you the way. It was that kind of thing, like a complete reversal of my life's direction. I said, what does it mean to be Krishna conscious? And then I got like a 45-minute spontaneous lecture on self-realization and the goal of Krishna consciousness. And to this day, I'll never forget it, because those were some of the most true words I've ever heard in my entire life. And I think for a living entity, we're in this material body, we're in this material world, we've forgotten who we are. It's kind of like you're in this bubble, and occasionally the bubble cracks, and some light shines through. The light of your true potential, the light of your true destiny. And when that moment happens, you feel something very special happening to you. Does that make sense to people? It feels very, very special. You feel like someone out there is looking out for you and reaching out and saying, hey, you're mine. That's what it felt like. It was very powerful. So then we developed a friendship, and so then actually at the end of the conversation, actually at one point in the conversation, I even started arguing with him. I said, but listen, it's my duty as a son. My mother said I should get a car puja, so it's my duty as a son to fulfill her request. He said, you don't even know what the first thing about duty is. That was another heavy statement. I said, what do you mean I don't know what duty is? He said, your duty is to become self-realized. I said, okay. I gave up arguing because he's very heavy, but very sweet. And then I said, so what do I do with my car? Because I have a car, you know. He said, real car puja. He said, like this real car puja means you only use the car to go to work, and you come to the temple, bus. That's it. And that's literally what happened after about 3 weeks. I became so attracted to Krishna consciousness, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, the path of bhakti, Radha Krishna, Gaurnitai, chanting, doing service. But I just started coming. I would go to work, and I would come straight to the temple after work. I would spend time with Jai Jagannath. We would talk, we would discuss. And in this way, one thing led to another, and in 2013 I left my job and I moved into the temple full time for 2.5 years. That was the plan. I told my parents were going to have a heart attack. My mom said, I sent you to the temple to get a car puja, not to change your life. So she said, you're going to get married, right? You're going to get married. Tell me you'll get married. It's like, leave me alone. So I moved into the temple for, I said 2.5 years. I said, just give me 2.5 years to just do what I want, then I'll do whatever you want. And that was like 6 years ago. So I kept pushing forward the 2.5 year mark. Kept pushing forward. And now we have this very wonderful project we're working on that I can tell you more about afterwards if you like. We're setting up a small preaching and meditation center near downtown Chicago. It's a bit strange because honestly I still feel like that young boy who came to a temple 10 years ago looking for a car puja. I still feel like that same kid, you know. But now here I am. I used to come to the neighborhood temple years ago when Bhadahari Prabhu was here 1 year. Now I'm sitting here talking to all of you devotees, you know, setting up a preaching center. It's a little, I'm still getting used to it. But I still feel like that kid who just came to get a car puja, you know, just like a little kid. So it's a little humbling to be here. But yeah, if anybody has any interest, I can tell you more about our project after class. So I'll chant the invocation prayers. If anybody knows them, you can chant along with me. And then we'll begin our lecture. I'll stop at 6:15. Oh wow, it's 5:50 already. I'll start around 6:20 and then we'll have 10 minutes for questions and answers, discussions if anybody wants to add something. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishnam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swayantikam Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Vishe Namaha He Krishna Padana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Taptatam Shanadoragi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Panchakarpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyascha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let me ask you all a question before I start. Do you have someone in your life, someone you know, who always pretends to be somebody else? In other words, they always try to make themselves look better than they actually are at something. When you ask them a question, when you talk to them about things, they always have a tendency to show off, right? They're better at something than they really are. They have a tendency to do that. Does anybody know someone like that? You know someone like that? Okay, only 4 of you. All right, 5 of you. But I think you all know someone like that. Some of you may not be listening right now. But I think we all know people like that, isn't it? And we don't like it. Isn't it? Nobody likes somebody who pretends. When you're young, like when you're your age, or we call it posing. Someone's posing. Adults, we call it pretending. Right? We don't like it. We prefer people to be themselves. Isn't it? If I meet you and I want to get to know you, I would prefer you just be yourself. And you would also expect the same from me. Yeah? So that's actually what Krishna wants from us also. He wants us to be authentic. He wants us to be real. He wants us to be honest. And he appreciates that more. We can go in front of the altar and we can tell Krishna, all I want is pure devotional service. But Krishna's in the heart, and he's seeing the movie in our heart, and he knows it's not true. So he would rather you go to the altar and say, my dear Lord, someday I want pure devotional service, but right now, this is what I really want. And then Krishna's like, wow, you're honest. I like that. So, in Krishna consciousness, I've seen two kinds of pretenses. Everybody understand this word? Pretenses? I've seen two kinds of pretensions. Two ways in which we try to cover up who we really are. And this has been my own experience. I've gone through this myself, so I can speak about it from first-hand experience. The first kind of pretension is where you reject the principles of Krishna consciousness. You reject the rules and all the practices and all of that because it doesn't feel like you. Okay? This is a pretense because actually we are spirit souls. We're not material beings, we're actually spirit souls. So to reject spiritual life is a kind of pretense. It has nothing to do with who we truly are. Okay? The other kind of pretense is where we follow the rules very nicely, we follow the practices very nicely, and think that makes us spiritual. Just going through the motions, just going through the activities, and we feel like this makes us a very spiritual person. Does that make sense? The first is where you reject the practice because you think it doesn't feel like me, I don't feel so spiritual. It's a pretense because we are actually spirit souls. We're meant to be spiritual. And the second is where we just do the rules and regulations very nicely, right? Like you meet these Christian people, they go to church every Sunday, they read the Bible, so they think everybody else is going to hell, because they're good Christians, so everybody else is going to hell. You understand this phenomenon? This can happen in any religious tradition. It doesn't just have to happen to the Christians, it can happen to us also. Does that make sense? So far, so clear? So, if one wants to live an inspiring life, who here wants to live an inspiring life? Whoever wants to live an ordinary, boring life? Let's see that first. Who wants to live an ordinary, boring life? Anybody? Anyone? Ordinary, boring? No? Okay, thank God. Who wants to live an inspiring life? An inspiring life. Like really, even the young ones. You two over there, you don't want an inspiring life? Now he raises his hand. We're talking about over here. I just got to reply to his Instagram post real quick. Inspiring? What's inspiring? Who wants an inspiring life? Let's see. Who wants an inspiring life? So if you want to live an inspiring life, if I want to live an inspiring life, we have to give a pretense. We have to become authentic. So let's talk about the first kind of inauthenticity. Let's look at the first kind of the rejection of Krishna consciousness. Now this is quite common for those of us who are a little bit younger. Okay, when we've grown up in the movement or we're a little bit young, we look at the world around us and we see that, many of the things that we want to do, like many of the things we see, the kind of movies we want to watch, the kind of sports we want to play, the kind of company we want to keep, it doesn't have much to do with Krishna consciousness. This may not apply so much to the older devotees, but it's definitely a challenge for younger devotees, right? Those of us who go to college, who have to get jobs, jobs for older devotees, but going to college, going to high school, we just see the society around us and we feel like, all the things that these people are doing, it has very little to do with Krishna consciousness. And I just want to fit in. Isn't it? Don't you feel this desire to fit in? You want to fit in, right, Yash? Right? You two over there in the back. What are your names, by the way? Yeah. Sri Vatsa and your brother over there. What's your name? Vivek? Vivek. So Vivek and Sri Vatsa, you guys also want to fit in, isn't it? You want to fit in? Yes or no? Kind of. So when you look at the society around you, you think, well, if I want to fit in and I want to be a devotee, it's going to be a challenge because none of these people know anything about Krishna consciousness. They don't know anything about spiritual life. So how am I supposed to be a part of this crowd? Does that make sense? So what happens usually for some people when they're in this situation? They turn away from Krishna consciousness. They can't see its relevance in day-to-day life, in modern life, because the community they want to fit in, the society they want to fit in, doesn't live by the values of Krishna consciousness. So what are the values that the modern world lives by? Most of us look at the world outside and we don't realize that there's actually a single, very profound value that drives our world today. That single value that drives our world today is to want to control material energy so we can enjoy it. That's at the root of everything that happens in the material world. Why do we want better phones? Why do we want faster cars? Why do we want bigger companies? Why do we want to keep the immigrants out of America so that there's more for us to enjoy? Right? This is the underlying law, the principle that governs everything in the material world, the politics, the economics, the sociology, the society, right? Companies always want more profit, right? Companies always want to get bigger. No company ever says, our goal this year is to cut sales figures in half, and make all employees really happy and cut our sales in half. Nobody ever says that. Because the idea is, no, the more matter you have, the bigger the company, the faster the phone, the better the house, the bigger the car, the more I'll enjoy. That's the underlying value that drives this world. Okay, does that make sense? Makes sense, right? So what happens is, when we go out into the world and we want to fit in, and we start doing the things that the world does, and our own value system is not so strong, we end up adopting the values of this world. Because we don't have our own values. Right? Our own values are not strong, so when we go out and we try to fit into this world, we end up adopting their values. It's one thing to have your values and do what somebody else is doing. That's different. That's different. You have your values, you have your principles, but you're just going out and doing what others are doing because you want to socially fit in. But it's something else when we don't have our values established, and then we go out into the world, and then we actually end up developing the values of the world outside. And the danger there is this. Believe it or not, I'm a preacher. I go out, I meet these people that everybody's trying to fit in with. They don't like their values. I met a person yesterday. We were at this huge festival in Wicker Park. We're there till 11 o'clock at night just reading books and preaching. It was really ecstatic. But I met this young man who's at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. He's doing an MBA in finance. He works for a private equity wealth fund here in downtown Chicago. And he came to me and he said, can I ask you some questions? I said, what's going on? He said, can you help me? I can't concentrate anymore. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm just so stressed out. I can't concentrate on anything anymore. He's really smart. He goes to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. He's getting an MBA in finance. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good resume, isn't it? That wouldn't be bad, right? But he's not happy with what is done to him. He's not able to concentrate properly. He's not able to focus on a task. He gets stressed out very, very easily. And I meet people like this all the time. They're working in society, they have jobs, they're working in companies, and they don't like what the world has done to them. They're successful, they're rich, but they're feeling the emptiness, they're feeling the dissatisfaction. So the people we're trying to fit in with, even they don't like the society that their values have created. They want something higher, they want something better. That's why mindfulness is so popular, meditation is so popular, Buddhism is so popular. Someday Hare Krishna will also become popular. No, it's already popular, don't worry. That was a joke, nobody laughed over that. So the key point that I wanted to bring out here in this first category is that if we're young, and if we can spend a little bit of time understanding the values that Srila Prabhupada came to give, right? At a deeper level, appreciating the values of the Krishna consciousness movement, we have to be honest with ourselves. We may not be able to live like that in the world right now when we're young. We may not be able to follow everything so nicely, do everything so nicely. But there's something very powerful about going into the world and at least in your heart knowing what's right and what's wrong. At least in our heart we should have a sense of what are the proper values and what are not the proper values. And then when we try to fit into the world, people will appreciate us because they'll understand that, okay, you're like us, you're doing the same things that we're doing, but I can tell there's something different about you. I can tell that there's something different about you. So we overcome the first kind of pretense by understanding at a deeper level, by studying Prabhupada's books, by associating with devotees, what are the values of the Krishna consciousness movement? What did Prabhupada actually come to establish? And when we have a deeper awareness of that, then we can be honest that, I can't live up to this standard right now. That's okay, that's fine. That honesty is actually very, very good. But at least in your heart, you appreciate the difference in values between the culture that Prabhupada came to give and the culture that's running the world outside today. And that makes a huge difference. Does that make sense? And I find that for many of us younger devotees, we're not always aware of the values of Krishna consciousness. We know that we should chant, we know that we should read Prabhupada's books, but at a deeper level, what are the values that drive Krishna consciousness? You know what I'm saying? At a very, very deep level, what does it mean to have compassion for everyone? What does it mean to... I remember one time I was talking to one young person, and I was explaining to him the values of Krishna consciousness, and I said, I personally believe that when I meditate, I'm with my Lord, and He's extremely beautiful and He's full of love. And I spend time with Him every single day doing that, just meditating. and he was blown away. He didn't even believe in God, but he appreciated that so much, that I have something in my life where I can every day just close the door to the world and be with Krishna, who is so beautiful, who is so full of love. And actually he really appreciated that quality. So I found that actually when we have strong beliefs in something, it doesn't have to be fanatical, it doesn't have to be like, we don't have to go out there and try to force everyone to think like us. We have our values, When we share them with people, if we're actually living with those values, people really appreciate it. People are like, wow, you have something meaningful in your life. Me, I'm just going to work, making money, and watching Netflix. I don't have anything really deep in my life. And it's a fact, for most people who don't have a spiritual practice, there's not really much depth there. We may have jobs and all of these things. So I find that it's very important as young people we can invest some time into really at a deeper level understanding the values of Krishna consciousness. Because when you share them with people, people really appreciate it. So I have all these notes over here, and I'm realizing now that I'm not sticking to my notes. So we'll try to keep it more tight from here on out. So on the other side of this equation is this culture where people follow the rules and regulations very nicely. And this also I've experienced myself firsthand, that people look at you and they think, oh, you're very nice, you're a pakka devotee, you say in ISKCON, you're a pakka devotee, you're, what's the other word? Fixed up. That's the other phrase we use, you're fixed up. Fixed up devotee, Prabhu, you're fixed up. And we're good, we're chatting around, we're externally following all the practices. But I remember about 2.5 years ago, I had a bit of a crisis in my personal spiritual life. I was having an argument with my parents. And it hit me all of a sudden that, you know what, even though I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and I'm studying Prabhupada's books, I'm not able to just easily forgive someone when they did something wrong. I'm not able to let go of my anger. I'm not able to just be loving even when someone is not so loving to me. It really struck me at a very deep level, because that's what we're supposed to be practicing. That's what real spiritual life is all about. It's not about the externals, it's about the change of your heart. And I remember at that point I stopped arguing with my parents and I apologized. And I was really thinking about this afterwards, like, why is that? Why is it that I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, right? I'm reading Prabhupada's books, I'm chanting, but I'm still moved by the same emotions that somebody who's not so spiritual is also moved by. There's a problem there. Do you see the problem? We're not supposed to be moved by the same emotions that a normal person is, because we're supposed to be spiritual, we're supposed to be Krishna conscious. That's what Prabhupada came to teach. And I thought of this nice story that comes from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Who here knows the Chaitanya Charitamrita? Who here is familiar with Chaitanya Charitamrita? Okay, quite a few of you. Chaitanya Charitamrita is the biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, who came and took birth in the land of India about 600 years ago to teach this chanting of Hare Krishna. Very beautiful book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you don't have a copy, I suggest you go to Mother Premananda and reserve a copy today. We have some in the gift shop, isn't it? Yes, so please get a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a beautiful book. And in this book we find the story of one brahmachari. This brahmachari was a little proud. Why was he proud? Because he used to live on milk. That's something to be proud of. If you meet some devotee and he says, all I do is I drink milk twice a day. You're like, go mata vijay. That's how you would feel. But it's pretty cool, right? Somebody who just drinks milk, lives on milk. Wow, a real sadhu. You would say, so pakka sadhu. This brahmachari was very proud. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had these private kirtans. He had these very private kirtans with his closest associates. And this brahmachari had a desire that I want to witness these kirtans also. So one time he snuck inside and hid himself. He wasn't invited. He was just there hiding and watching the kirtan. But Mahaprabhu realized somebody's in the room who's not supposed to be in the room. So he became a little concerned. He said, who's in the room? I can feel, I'm not feeling ecstasy today. Because somebody is here that's not supposed to be here. So they caught this brahmachari. And this brahmachari said, but I'm only living on milk. I'm so austere, I should be allowed to see this kirtan. And Mahaprabhu said, Are Baba, if just by drinking milk you could get Krishna, it's not so easy. It's not so easy to just drink milk and think that will purchase Krishna. What does this story tell us? This story makes a very profound point. That actually if we want to be close to Krishna, we have to change our heart. We have to have love in our heart, isn't it? Isn't it? If you want to be close to Krishna, what do you have to have in your heart? Love. Not just external rituals and great practices. Those are also very important, by the way. Don't walk out of here thinking, yeah, 4 reds, this is external. I'll just do whatever I want. But that's also not good. We need the regulations. But if the regulations are not transforming our heart, then what's the use of the regulations? Right? That means that there's something is missing. Now when we, those who are like practicing nicely, are not having a transformation of heart, it has two effects. One, those of us who know us and are close to us are very uninspired. Okay? Suppose you're some old devotee, you've been a devotee for 15, 20 years, and I'm very close to you, and I notice that even after being a devotee for so many years, you're still acting just like a normal person, like in terms of your emotions, your behavior, right? That it's not very inspiring. It makes me think that Krishna consciousness must not be working. Yes? It's not very inspiring. And it also is a clue that somewhere along the way, our spiritual path, some obstacle came up, and we don't know how to overcome it. That's the other issue of the situation, is that when we've been practicing for so long but our heart is not transforming, it means that somewhere along the way we had a plan of execution, and some hiccup came to this plan. Something came to stop my progress. So therefore, a thoughtful devotee, this is what happened to me. I experienced this about 2.5 years ago, where I realized that I need to really focus on what's happening in my heart. Am I actually having a transformation? So here's what I did. I wrote down 4 things. I wrote down 4 things that are very important for me. I realized that if you, like in a company, right? If you're starting a business, you set benchmarks, isn't it? You don't decide to go from $0 in sales to $20 million in sales in the first month. That's not realistic, isn't it? Unless you're selling like Apple products, but that's just not realistic. So you set benchmarks. Okay, we want to get to $20 million in sales, but this quarter we'll try to get to $1.5 million. Realistic, something like that. So I realized that our ultimate goal is to have love of God, which is very far away. But in the meantime, between now and the ultimate journey, I need to set some benchmarks for myself, some short-term goals. And if I'm making progress properly, then these short-term goals should become experience planning. Does that make sense? It's kind of like when you decide to drive from here to Chicago, the ultimate destination is Chicago, right? But along the way, there's so many turns, right turns, left turns. It's kind of hard. Thank you so much. No, that's fine. Half the fan. I've never seen that happen in 5 minutes. Just come off like that. Thank you so much. So, benchmarks, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how in the, it's a little strong. So I decided for myself that I wanted to set up some benchmarks in my own spiritual life. And I'll read you what I wrote down, and maybe this will inspire the rest of us also. Maybe you might find something valuable in it, because these are short-term goals. I call them short-term goals or benchmarks. So the first benchmark I wrote down was, I want to be undisturbed by constant desires, and I want to know the difference between what should be pursued and what shouldn't be pursued. Sometimes you get really confused, like what's right, what's wrong, so many desires come. So I realized I want this short-term goal. I actually want to be undisturbed by too many desires. The second thing I wrote down was, I wanted to see people who appreciate me and people who criticize me with an equal vision. I realized that I have a tendency that when I see someone who likes me, I love them. Like when I see Mukunda, I get really happy. When I see somebody else, I don't get so happy. That's not very good, actually. If we're trying to be Krishna conscious, this mentality of seeing friends, he's my friend, he's not my friend, I like him, I don't like him, I really like her, I really don't like her. This is not how a spiritual person should behave, actually. We should respect everyone. So this was my second goal I wrote down, that, you know what, along my journey in spiritual life, I want to be able to appreciate and respect everyone, even someone who doesn't like me, even someone who doesn't appreciate me. The third thing I wrote down was, I want to be able to do my duty, and even when I meet some success or when I meet some failure, I don't want to have a sense of doership. This is something Krishna talks a lot about in the Gita. Ahamkar, I am doing, I am the doer. Right? I want to do my duties in life without feeling this sense of doership. And remaining steady, even if I'm meeting some failure, even if I'm becoming successful, remaining steady on the goal. By the way, these are all coming from the Bhagavad Gita. Those of you who have studied the Gita, I'm sure you know which verses I'm using, but we have to set our benchmarks based on what the scriptures are given. So that's what I did. I just found the things in the scriptures that really inspired me. And the fourth thing I wrote down was, I want to develop a very strong connection of service and inquiry with my spiritual master. So I realized that on my journey towards the goal of life, I need to set these short-term goals, And I should be very conscious that I'm meeting these goals in due time. Otherwise my heart is not changing. Otherwise, I'm not really going towards the destination I need to be going towards. Does that make sense? So, this is the last thing I want to share with you, that it's important to remember that as we go on this journey, that bhakti ultimately is about the cultivation of feelings for Krishna, and not just the following of external rules and regulations. We need those external rules and regulations. They're very, very important to keep us in a mode of goodness, to keep us in a sattvic lifestyle. But if we're not developing feelings for Krishna, if we're not able to feel compassion for other living entities, if someone needs help and we're not able to feel a desire to help them and serve them, right? Then we should ask ourselves, am I actually experiencing the true gifts of Krishna consciousness? Am I actually experiencing the true gifts of Krishna consciousness? Because as we grow and as we advance in Krishna consciousness, our heart is supposed to transform. Our heart is supposed to transform, and very naturally we're supposed to feel compassion. We're supposed to feel empathy. We're supposed to feel this spontaneous desire to serve, right? Not that we look at the world and we see what can we take from the world, but what can we give to the world? How can we serve the other living entities in this world? So, if these things are happening, then we should know that, okay, my spiritual life, my Krishna consciousness is heading in the right direction. So this was my talk that I prepared for today, that Krishna wants us to be honest, he wants us to be authentic, and the kind of authentic person is somebody who realizes that, yes, I should be a little spiritual, I shouldn't just reject Krishna consciousness because it doesn't have anything to do with the world outside of me. I am a spiritual person, I'm a spiritual human being, I'm a spirit soul, and so even though I want to fit into the world, I should still have some spiritual values. And Krishna will appreciate that. If you go before Krishna and say, my dear Lord, right now I'm not able to follow everything so perfectly, but I know that ultimately you're the goal of life, Krishna will appreciate that kind of honesty. He'll appreciate that. And the second kind of honest person, he goes before Krishna and says, my dear Krishna, I'm following everything so nicely, but my heart is still not transforming. My heart is still not changing. So please, can you help make a transformation in my heart? And Krishna will appreciate that kind of honesty also. Because in both cases, we're being very honest. Right now, I cannot follow so nicely. And the second person, I'm following nicely, but I'm not feeling a transformation of heart. So this kind of honesty, Krishna will appreciate very much. And there's so many verses in the Shastras, there's so many stories in the Shastras that can illustrate this point. But I'm not good at remembering Sanskrit, so I just try to summarize it into principles instead of verses. So this is the talk that I prepared for today. I don't know if anybody has any comments or reflections. Prabhu has something. Is there a mic we can give him?
Comment question.
Yeah.
So Srila Prabhupada says, offer everything to Krishna.
Right.
So now you are Krishna conscious, even our cows,
Right.
Right.
Right. Was that the comment?
That's the question. The comment was, Srila Prabhupada said, offer everything to Krishna.
And the question was?
The question was, so now you are Krishna conscious, you even offer your cows,
Yeah, I mean, the idea is we try to use everything in Krishna's service.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yes. Are you saying you want to keep my car now?
The person who you met the first time was Krishna conscious.
I know, I'm just joking.
But that's okay.
Yes, we should offer everything to Krishna, it's true.
So at the time, Jai Jagannath was Krishna conscious at the time, right?
Yes.
So,
I think he still is, yes. No, I'm sure.
okay, that's it.
Okay, that's it. Anybody else, a comment or a question, anything you would like to ask or share? Mukunda? You can just speak up and I'll
So, I was trying to formulate this thought, but maybe you can expand on
Sure.
it. But, so what you were saying in that first category of people is, what would be ideal in that situation is that to be honest that maybe I cannot follow all the standards of a Krishna conscious lifestyle right now,
Yeah.
but I want to. And so I'm going to be part of society and whatever, do the things that my friends or coworkers are doing in the real world. And I want these values of Krishna consciousness, but I'm not at that point where I'm able to practice that yet, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm proposing that there's a category close to that where I don't really see the value of even wanting Krishna consciousness. I don't, because I see all my friends, all my coworkers that don't have those values, but they seem to be happy. So why should I necessarily want these values, because these other people seem happy also?
Very good question. So Mukunda's question is, the first category of person I was describing, he or she goes into the world or goes before Krishna and says that right now I just want to fit in, I want to do what everybody else is doing, but someday eventually I want to follow Krishna consciousness, right? But Mukunda is pointing out that what if you don't even have that desire? Because you see the people in the world and you think, well, everyone's happy, everyone seems to be doing all right? So I don't even want to follow the value of Krishna consciousness. And I think the answer to that question, Mukunda, is that we haven't deeply understood what are the values of Krishna consciousness. Because, see, we have to learn to see Krishna consciousness as something that goes beyond the rules and regulations and just the external structure. Right? Krishna is in the heart of everyone, and he's teaching a very profound message in the Gita of living a life of detachment, living a life of purpose, living a life that has higher value for yourself and also the world around you, living a life that's exemplary, living a life that's exciting. It's easy to make money and go to Hawaii for vacations. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? But to have a mind that's not disturbed by the dualities of success and failure, of happiness and sadness, that's a very powerful quality to have. So if one understands that actually Krishna consciousness is about creating an internal ecosystem that's very resilient, that's very strong, that's very powerful, that can withstand the chaos of material life, right? If one understands that, then I think who wouldn't be interested in that? Like yesterday I was talking to one person, very muscular, very handsome. And I was talking to his girlfriend and I said, yeah, look at your boyfriend, he has these big biceps, but what about his mind? And they both started laughing. I said, I bet you his mind has these big, tiny muscles, isn't it? The slightest emotion thing just disturbs it. And they both started laughing. They're like, yeah, you're right. I can't handle much. Someone just has to say a little bit about my work, my performance, my day. And I'm irritated. I'm annoyed. So I think when we're young, yes, we look at the world also thinking everyone's happy. But scratch a little bit. Don't just look at their Facebook profiles and their Instagram videos. Find out what they do at night. What happens in the evenings? What happens when something bad happens to them? How do they deal with it? How do they process it? And we realize actually people don't process things too well. In the material world, when something breaks down, when something unfortunate happens, normal people can't process it too well. They also break down. They have to turn to so many self-destructive things just to cope up. And I'm not just saying that to convince you to be spiritual. That's not my point. If you don't believe me, go right ahead. Look at the statistics. We're living in the most desperate society in modern times. The rate of alcohol abuse, depression, suicide are higher than they've ever been in modern society. You know what I'm saying? The amount of people that are, and what to speak of, I was going to speak about this, what to speak of the massive loss in productivity due to mass media. People are spending more and more time watching Netflix, shopping on Amazon, and what it's doing is social scientists are just now coming out with studies that show that actually our generation, this generation, has a very, very low ability to stay focused, to actually think about things like goals, to set, you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? To set discipline. It's very difficult for this generation actually to set a goal and actually meet it, because they have such a hard time concentrating, they have such a hard time focusing. So these studies are just now coming out. What has been the effect of video games, PlayStations and computer video games, Netflix, on the minds of young people? And they're finding out actually our generation has such a hard time concentrating, focusing, thinking about goals and purpose in life. And guess what? Millennials are the loneliest generation in history. They feel completely lonely, even though they're supposed to be so connected, right? So this argument that people sometimes use, that, oh, everybody outside is so happy, the values of Krishna consciousness, I don't see the value in them. It's not true. Where is the science? Where are the signs that says that yes, this generation is super happy, everyone feels connected, they feel like life has a purpose, they're goal-driven, they're focused. It's the exact opposite. See, you go to Naperville High, you know what happens in high school. These kids are, vaping, smoking, getting high. It's so common amongst teenagers. Depression. The teenage suicide rate is at the highest it's been in the last 50 years. The teenage suicide rate is at the highest it's been in the last 50 years. Why? Because of what's happened to our society. So a young person has to be thoughtful. They have to study. What is the culture Prabhupada came to give? I may not be able to follow it right now, but these are very deep values. A purpose in life, a value and meaning in life. And then when you communicate that to someone outside, they'll appreciate it. They'll be like, oh, you actually have a solution. That's the thing. Krishna consciousness is actually providing a very profound solution. Right? Not just rituals and practices, but a profound solution. People outside are waiting for that. So if we can communicate it to them, that here's what we're here to provide, then who would not appreciate? You know what I'm saying? Who would not appreciate when you put it like that? So it's just a matter of understanding the values and being able to communicate it in a way, and then people will see, wow, you actually have something very profound. Does that make sense? But the first step is, anybody who thinks that has to study the values of Krishna consciousness. If they say that, it's mean they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah. I think Mataji in the back had a question. Yeah. Go ahead, I'll repeat it for you.
Okay, I'm trying to understand the concept of Krishna consciousness. So when you talk about there are certain values that are necessary to Krishna conscious, but just to begin, who is Krishna? I mean, we talk about conscious, but like I have that confusion in my mind. Who is Krishna? And that's what you might be struggling for most of the people here.
Yeah.
But I just want to start with those two words that make it
Sure.
conscious, but Krishna.
Who is Krishna?
And I know what the conscious means.
Sure.
But like we look at the altar, I mean, is it the idol worship that we should be doing? I'm just confused with that overall concept.
Okay, thank you for this very honest question. It's not a disturbing question, it's a very beautiful, honest question. According to our philosophy, Krishna or Bhagavan manifests in 3 levels. Okay, first is Brahman, then it's Paramatma, and then it's Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the personal form of God. So this is how I explain it to someone who's completely new. Okay, this is the language I use. So it's like this: in this material world, everything is made of what? Carbon. Carbon is the building block of the material world, isn't it? This table ultimately is carbon. This cell phone ultimately is carbon. This floor ultimately is carbon. Right? So it's the basic element that builds the material world. That's Brahman. Brahman is that Shakti, that energy that is at the layer, at the foundation of this material world. That is the first level of understanding Krishna. That he is everything. Does that make sense? Krishna is everything. It's like when you walk into it's like you go to the beach. So with the sand on the beach, your daughter makes a little castle, Yash makes a little car, Mukunda makes a little mridanga. They look like different shapes, but it's all sand. In the same way, in this material world, there's so much matter. There's buildings and trees and cars, but that is energy, and that energy is Krishna. That is level 1. Level 2 is that within that energy, there's me, a spirit soul, Atma. I'm living, right? And that Atma comes not from this material world, it comes from a spiritual place. It comes from Paramatma, who's also with me in my heart. So in my heart, there is me, the Atma, consciousness, energy, light, whatever you want to call it. And with me is my source, Paramatma, who is also with me in the heart, and that is also Krishna. That is the second level of understanding Krishna. Everything around me is Krishna. Within my own heart, Krishna is sitting next to me also. Okay. The third level of understanding Krishna is, well, who is that Krishna? Who is he as a person? Like right now, I don't know you. I don't know your name. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do when you wake up in the morning. I don't know who your friends are. I don't know what kind of movies you like to watch. I know nothing about you. I just know that you are this person in Naperville. Okay? So, that third level of understanding Krishna is Bhagavan. Swayam Roop Bhagavan. Person. Krishna is a person. Who is he like? What does he do? What does he like to do? Who are his friends? Right? And this is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which if you don't have a set, Mother Premananda will be happy to give you a set of Srimad Bhagavatam also. It's explained how Krishna lives in Goloka Vrindavan, the spiritual world with his dear associates. And of course you know the gopis. Everybody from India knows Radha Krishna. You know Krishna and the gopis, right? But he has many other associates also. He has mother, his father, he has friends. So now, this deity you see on the altar is the representation, and it contains everything. It's the personality of Krishna, but that person, Krishna, is the foundation for also the Paramatma in the heart, and also the energy of this world. Everything. He is the foundation. He is the root. But all of that is contained within him as a person. Does that make sense?
Just the last one.
No, you go ahead, no problem.
The third part, you said who are Krishna's friends, his life, and all that.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Who has seen that? This has been seen by the great sages in meditation. Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is the one who compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our main book. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes how he was in a state of samadhi, in a state of trance. And in that state of samadhi, the Supreme Lord revealed to him his world, his abode, his associates, so that he could write about it for the benefit of the rest of us. Because if nobody transmits this knowledge, we cannot know that it exists, right? And it's not that someone can just make it up, it has to come in the form of scripture. So in our Hindu tradition, Vedic tradition, we respect Shastra as the truth. Shastra is the truth. It comes from a divine place, a spiritual, a great place. It's not the creation of man's intelligence. It's not a human creation. It's a divine creation, and it describes Krishna's abode. It describes Krishna's land, his pastimes, his friends, what his activities are, and his beautiful form. Very beautiful. You can read the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, or we have a book called Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It describes in great detail Krishna's activities, his leelas. This is coming from Shastra. And Shastra is that which is revealed to great souls in Samadhi. They write it down, and then they hand it down, in the generations. And people study it. And by practicing this Krishna consciousness, if you chant every day, Hare Krishna, if you follow Krishna consciousness nicely, if you try to love Krishna, then he will reveal that to you in your heart also. Yeah.
Is chanting a requirement to have Krishna consciousness?
In this Kali Yuga, we have to do something to transform our heart. Okay, right now we have this heart, and we have this ego within our heart that I am something. So this has to break. Our heart has to change, and in every yuga, you understand this word yuga? Every yuga, there is a different process for transforming the heart. And in this yuga, the process is chanting the holy names. Now, let me ask you this. You said, is it a requirement? So I can see by your question that you're not sure. Should I chant? Should I not chant? You can start something simple. You can chant 10 Hare Krishnas a day. That's easy. You can chant 10 Hare Krishnas a day. Just 10 times you can chant Hare Krishna. 1 round, 2 rounds. You can start with something simple. But don't make the mistake of thinking that just by chanting you'll get Krishna. You have to do it with love. You see the difference? It's not a ritual. It can become a ritual if you do it without love. But if you do it with real desire, I want Krishna, I want to please Krishna, then the chanting will have effect. Otherwise it's just a tape recorder, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna is like, come on, tape recorder I can also get, no problem. Just hit play, and then the person sits there for 2 hours, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, come on, you think Krishna is going to be impressed by that? So chanting has to be done with some feeling, with some love. And yes, it is a requirement. In Kali Yuga, if you want to attain pure love of Krishna, you have to chant the holy names, because it purifies the heart. It purifies the heart. Does that satisfy your question?
Pretty much.
Okay.
But I want to give chance to other.
Sure. We can talk more afterwards, no problem. Anybody else have a question? Comment? We have 1 minute, last one.
Can you find out, is this person God conscious?
I'll let Krishna figure that out. I don't know if I have the right to figure that out.
You have the right.
Oh, she's here, she wants to know about Krishna, that's God consciousness.
That's a good answer.
So, we have 1 minute left. Any last reflection or comment? No? Okay. Thank you so much for your attention. Sorry if I bored you. I apologize. Sorry if I spoke a little fast. But thank you so much for your attention. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. How's everybody? Good? I hope so. It look like that. First of all, I wanted to thank Shyam Prabhu for the wonderful class. Please give a big hand. So lots of things are happening. You know how many weeks for Janmashtami?
3 more weeks.
3 more weeks. Everybody ready for it?
Yay!
Alright, it doesn't sound like that. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Alright. So, I'm not going to talk much about Janmashtami because our Sumangala Mataji will be speaking about that. But there are a lot of other things going on as well. Did you notice any change in this temple hall? Yes. The color of the walls, yes, it has changed, and we have to give a big hand to Alpesh Prabhu and Dev Prabhu. And not only that, I don't know if anybody noticed, we cleaned up that room over there. Now it is a meeting room, classroom, gathering room, and so it was so much needed. This also was done with the help of Dev Prabhu, Alpesh Prabhu, and a number of ladies here who worked one whole day throwing and removing the unwanted things, and they painted the walls, and it is looking kind of habitable now. And please give them another big hand for that. Then in this limited space we are living here, downstairs there is a very tiny little room, half of which is used for festival storage. And it was a one disaster storage space. And today some Boy Scouts, Eagle Project, they were brought here by Sumangala Mataji, and they reorganized the whole room. The children raised $300 by themselves, and they used that money to buy shelves, plastic containers, and they worked the whole day, organized the festival storage area. And the children are Jacob Villas, Jack Pridovic, Ayush Modi, Rajiv Jangini, Will Prater, Anikesh Singh, Ben Nixon, Srivatsa Veerabrahma, Jacob Villas, Jacob Pridovic, and it's the same names here. And I think they were led by Raj Thandi, right?
Raj Tadani.
Raj?
Raj Tadani.
Tadani, and he's the son of Praveen and Simran, and we please give them a big hand. It's a huge project. I personally have cleaned that room 20 times in my lifetime, and it has gone back to worse than what it was every year. And now it is so organized, we hope that it will stay that way. Who is here to receive the gift? Who is Raj, please come and receive this gift. Thank you so very, very much. And the Boy Scouts and this Eagle Project have done in the past also. They had built the picnic tables one year, and another year they built a swing set. And this is the third year you are coming in a different group of children. But we really appreciate your spirit in which you are doing the selfless service. Thank you again. Now we have our not Dev, Abhay Kumar Prabhu. Is he here? Abhay Prabhu? Prabhu and his wife Sangeeta. No?
Sangeeta is here.
Where is Sangeeta? There. See, these two devotees were, they are an integral part of Naperville community. Please come here, Sangeeta. They are Abhay here too. Please come, Abhay. They are so close to us, and they very quietly do so much service in this center. Please come. They do so much service every year, and we don't even see their face, and they have become so close to us in our heart. And because of job reasons, he has to relocate to Canada. So unfortunately, we will be losing them. They will be going to Canada. Today is the last day they are going to be here. I was really seriously telling this from my heart, that I will miss you like anything. I don't even know how I have developed so much affection for them. I have a small gift for both of you. We hope this is not a permanent relocation and we will come back. We don't want to lose anybody. You know, it's a small community and very significant devotees, and every time when a devotee is going somewhere, our heart really breaks. Okay, so today's Sunday feast is sponsored by Lome Vaske Prabhu and family, seeking Krishna and devotees' blessings for their daughter Sharayu on her first birthday. Is the family is here? Are they here? Please come and receive a small prasadam packet from us. Oh, this little girl! Oh my goodness! She has become 1 year old. Happy birthday! Can you please stand after me? So that they make their spiritual progress, steady journey towards Krishna's lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Once again, I wanted to thank Dr. Brahm Gupta, who is our full supporter for our temple project, for being here. And we are very, very grateful for everything that you are doing for us. Who else is here? You wanted to say something? And I'm just putting it in very simple words, but the amount of support that we get from Dr. Gupta is no words can explain. Krishna himself is brought him here, and I am very grateful for his presence. And what else I have to say? So, yes, please.
You will not believe it, but I have personally experienced grace of Krishna, and you cannot believe, I cannot tell it, but you will not believe my experience.
Why you won't believe? Please speak. We believe, you all believe here, that's why we are here.
Yeah. But I personally experienced this grace on me after I started the process of Krishna consciousness.
Oh, Hari
Your mere presence here proves Krishna's grace. Krishna's grace manifests in the form of his devotees, and so we are so very grateful for their presence in our lives. Thank you. And now I think I'm going to pass this on to Sumangala and her announcements regarding Janmashtami. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Time is, clicking. 4 more weeks, exactly 1 month after this room, you will not have space to stand also. So, exactly 1 month, 23rd is the Janmashtami festival, which is falling on Friday. And we are extending the festival to be on Saturday so that the community can join the celebration. So 2-day festival. I would like to request the entire community, do one favor, please go to the Facebook, any social media that you use, WhatsApp, please spread the word. Because last time we had 4,000 people come here, 3,500 to 4,000 people in 2 days running crowd. We are expecting a much larger, but in order for them to come here, that social media, spreading the word is what needed. So please do share. And I have Sangeeta Mataji is going to talk about the Kalash program that we have.
Hare Krishna. Are you all excited about Janmashtami coming up soon? Yes, very more. So every year we do something special. and that's the only time our Radha Shyam Sundar come on the altar. So this year we have this beautiful kalash. You can sponsor this, and we'll do the abhishek with this kalash, and you get to take the kalash back home. And last week, Stoka Krishna Prabhu had offered this. And this is for $500. He offered it for $400 last week. This is the only week we are offering it for discount rate of $450. And from next week, because we are already, we have sold like, well, 20 of these have been sponsored already, and we have very limited number left. So if you could come up and sponsor this today, you'll get it for $450. And from next week onwards, it will be $500. And please come and sponsor this and spread the word to your friends and family. This is the only one time in a year we get to do this, and like we plan for any other birthday celebrations, I think for Lord we can do this much. Haribol.
And we have last year we had 300 volunteers to put together this festival, and this year it's going to go higher. We need about 400 volunteers. I was thinking initially when I started the festival, I thought maybe about 50 to 100 volunteers. But when I started putting the list together, it was 300 volunteers. So I just want to just take a quick minute. I wanted to run the team leads and just quickly, because they are putting a lot of hours in there and a lot of effort. So just to encourage them, I'll just quickly read out. The DT worship team is led by Krishna Murari Prabhu and supported by Radha Kunj Bihari Prabhu. And cooking team is going to be led by Alka Mataji. Cultural team is going to be led by Soumya Mataji and Vanita Mataji. Baking team, which is the big highlight, is going to be led by Katamrita Mataji. And Prasadam distribution is going to be Prashant Tyagi Prabhu and Sarvanand Prabhu. And marketing and communication are done by Pratibhav Prabhu. And fundraising, our own Sangeeta Mataji. And the decorations teams along with me, myself, and Prabhu Kishori Mataji and Mansi Ganga Mataji and Janaki Mataji, we will be leading that. And reception team, guest services, Kiran Mataji and Sweetie Mataji. And volunteers lead is Chandramukhi Mataji, who is going to look after all these 400 volunteers. So she needs a lot of patience there. And then we have book distribution by Vamshidhari Prabhu and youth team and other teams. But there are a lot of help needed, so let's give a big hand to these team leads who are doing a lot of effort. It's going to be like a rush hour, for them for this next 1 month. And Chandramukhi Mataji will be outside, she will be taking the names. Please, 1 hour, 2 hours, remember only one thing when you are signing up. We need 400 volunteers for supporting the 6,000 to 7,000 people who are going to come. So even if you want to participate just for 1 hour, please see Chandramukhi Mataji and sign up. And I would like to request everybody, please pass the words on the social media. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. One more announcement. Our yearly Gita camp. This is the 29th year we are doing this. Please give a big hand to Gita camp. We have close to 60 children registered this year. Give them a big hand. We are also having 25 to 30 teachers and volunteers. Give them a hand. So in the next 2 weeks we are having all fun with the Gita camp. Following that we have more fun with some additional festival. After that is the 3-day celebration of Janmashtami, and the journey continues. Thank you all. The prasadam is getting served downstairs. Thank you for coming. Hare Krishna.